It's me Greshma Clement. Welcome back to the video. Today we are going to see the poem Flecknoe by John Dryden. But before we directly move to the poem, we need to know which are the major works of the great poet John Dryden. So today in this video we will discuss not only the poem Flecknoe but the 20 major works of the great one and only poet cum playwright John Dryden. So, dear friends, without wasting time, let's begin. Flecknoe by John Dryden. Let's see the details of the author John Dryden. He was born in the year 1631 and died in 1700. Dryden belongs to Restoration period. He is known as the father of English criticism. It's a very important point because we may get a question like who is known as the father of English criticism, and we will be given options like Samuel Johnson, Dryden, Alexander Pope and such figures. And from those options, we have to pick John Dryden as the right answer. So, we can say Dryden is known as the father of English criticism. Dryden is the first poet laureate of England. That is also very important point. Let's move on. These are the contributions of John Dryden to the field of literature. Let's see. He has written comedy, tragedy, heroic plays, critical essays, odes, satires, and other such verses or other such poems. And he has also did loads of translations of classical works. So, such a legendary figure was John Dryden. Now we are going to see the 20 major works of John Dryden. And these works are listed in almost in a chronological order. So you can remember the year, publishing year and the work's name as well. So let's begin with Heroic Stanzas on the Death of Oliver Cromwell. I hope you may be familiar with Oliver Cromwell. Okay, yes. So this particular poem is a poem written by Dryden and this poem praises Oliver Cromwell. Okay, yes. It was written in the year 1559. Second work is Astrea Redux, published in the year 1660. The title Astrea Redux means justice restored. Fine? Yes. This particular work is actually a eulogy for Charles II. But let me ask you, what is a eulogy? Eulogy, any idea? Okay, let me help you. Eulogy is a piece of writing or a work that praises someone so highly. So we can say Astrea Redux is actually a work that praises the King Charles II. Fine? Okay. Let's move on. Next work is Rival Ladies. It's a tragic play written in the year 1664. Thereafter came so many works like The Indian Queen, published in the year 1664, The Indian Emperor, 1665, and thereafter we can see another work, Annus Mirabilis. It was published in the year 1667. This title, Annus Mirabilis, means wonderful year. Okay, so you have to remember the title Annus Mirabilis means wonderful year. Thereafter, we can see one of the very important works of Dryden, which is an essay of dramatic poesy. There is a spelling correction. It's not poesy, it is poesy. Poesy. Okay, there is no T. So there is a correction. Please note that. In this particular work, John Dryden tries to justify drama, saying that it is the legitimate form of poetry and it can be even compared to that of an epic. So here the critic cum poet John Dryden says that drama is actually as important as poetry, and that can be even compared to that of an epic. So that great is a drama. Okay, a drama is a great runner, and it can be even compared to that of an epic. He also emphasizes that drama is actually an imitation of life itself. So that important is a drama. This work, an essay of dramatic poesy, is basically a dialogue among four speakers. And those speakers are Eugenius, Crites, Lycidius, and Neander. So these are the four speakers who speak throughout this work, or we can say this work is basically a dialogue among these four speakers. And here the character or the person Neander is the spokesperson of John Dryden, or we can see the views of John Dryden through the words of Neander. Fine? Yes. And it's an important point. Moving on, next work is Tyrannic Love, that published in the year 1669. It is also an important work. Thereafter, we can see The Conquest of Granada. It's a very, very, very important work written by John Dryden. It was published in the year 1670. The preface of this play is Essay on Heroic Tragedy. And in that particular preface, John Dryden explains the concept of heroic drama. This point is very important, and we may get a question like, in which work of John Dryden we get an idea about heroic drama? So we have to answer that it is in the Conquest of Granada. In that particular play, we get an idea about heroic drama. Fine? Yes. This play deals with the conquest of Granada by Spanish army. Fine? Yes. Moving on, the next famous work is All for Love by Dryden, and it was published in the year 1678. Next famous work by Dryden is The State of Innocence, published in the year 1677. This particular work is actually a rewriting of Paradise Lost. And let me ask you, whose work is Paradise Lost? Yes, right. It is by John Milton. Yes. So this work of Dryden is actually a rewriting of Paradise Lost. And this work is an opera. What is an opera? Opera means a musical play in which most of its words are sung, not just spoken like a dialogue, but they are sung with instrumental accompaniment. So there will be instruments or orchestra in the behind, and most of the words of this particular play are sung instead of merely spoken. Okay, yes. So that's the speciality of opera. Opera is merely a play, but the words of that play are sung, not just spoken. That's the difference. And here, both these plays by John Dryden are examples of operas: The State of Innocence and Troilus and Cressida. Okay, both these plays are operas. So let's see the next work, Troilus and Cressida, that was published in the year 1679. It is an opera, and its subtitle is Truth Found Too Late. So we may get a question like, what is the subtitle of the play Troilus and Cressida by John Dryden? So we have to say it is Truth Found Too Late. Fine? Yes. And this particular work is a reworking of William Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida, which is based on the Trojan War. Yes. Moving on. Next work is Religio Laici, that is published in the year 1682. The subtitle of this particular work is A Layman's Faith. And this poem is actually a discourse on religion and it supports Anglicanism. Fine, yes. Moving on. And next work is also focuses on religion. Okay, let's see which is that. The Hind and the Panther. Again, it's a very famous work of John Dryden. It was published in the year 1687. This work speaks about John Dryden's conversion to Catholicism. So it's very important. And this particular work speaks about John Dryden's conversion to Catholicism. In this work, Hind represents Roman Catholic Church and Panther represents Church of England. And we know that Hind and Panther are two beasts or two animals. Okay, and these two animals actually represents two different versions of Christianity. Okay, yes. Moving on. There are three works written by Dryden. Let's quickly see which are those. Song of Saint Cecilia's Day. Actually, it is Cecilia. It's not LL. It's not double L. Instead, it is LIA. Okay, fine. There's a spelling correction. Please note that. Song for Saint Cecilia's Day came in the year 1687. Next work is Alexander's Feast, 1697. Next is Preface to the Fables, 1700. Okay, moving on. Next famous work is Absalom and Achitophel. That was published in the year 1681. It is actually a satire and it attacks the Earl of Shaftesbury. Well, dear friends, let me remind you, these three works have a connection, okay? And we will later know what is the connection between these particular works. At first, just listen to the points related to these works. So the first work is Absalom and Achitophel, and it's a satire, and it attacks the Earl of Shaftesbury. And the very famous line of this particular work is, "Beware the fury of a patient man." Very important line and very off-quoted line. Okay, off-quoted line is that, "Beware the fury of a patient man." Fine. Next work is The Medal, and that came in the year 1682. The subtitle of this particular work is A Satire Against Sedition. Okay, a satire against sedition. That is the subtitle of the work, The Medal. And this work also attacks the Earl of Shaftesbury. So we have two works which attacks the Earl of Shaftesbury, Absalom and Achitophel, and the next work, The Medal. And finally, we have Flecknoe, came in the year 1682, and that is the work we are going to focus on. Well, now let's see what is the connection between these three works. Let's see. The poem Absalom and Achitophel celebrates the King Charles II's victory over his enemies. Here, both Absalom and Achitophel are biblical characters. And let's see who are they. In the Bible, in the Holy Bible, Absalom is the son of King David. And Achitophel is his advisor. Whose advisor? Absalom's advisor. Okay, yes. With the help of Achitophel, Absalom revolts against his father. And who is Absalom's father? King David. Okay, yes. John Dryden applied that particular story, that biblical story, to the reality of England. That means, in the poem Absalom and Achitophel, the character David is actually the King Charles II. Absalom is Charles II's illegitimate son, James Court, the Duke of Monmouth, and Achitophel is Anthony Ashley Cooper, the Earl of Shaftesbury, who encouraged Monmouth to rebel. Now, I hope you understood the connection between that biblical story and this particular poem, Absalom and Achitophel. Fine? Yes, moving on. This poem strongly criticizes Shaftesbury, the Earl of Shaftesbury. Remember? Yes. So this poem strongly criticizes the Earl of Shaftesbury for encouraging Monmouth to revolt against his father, the King Charles II. Fine? Yes. Moving on. Soon after the publication of the poem Absalom and Achitophel by John Dryden, the Earl of Shaftesbury got arrested on the charge of high treason, but later he was released. Okay? Yes. So what John Dryden did is he wrote another poem titled The Medal, and that work savagely criticized the Earl of Shaftesbury. And in response to the poem The Medal, Thomas Shadwell, another poet, Thomas Shadwell wrote a work titled The Medal of John Byas. Here, John Byas is a character taken from the work The Rehearsal, and it's another play written by George Villiers, who was the Duke of Buckingham. And this play, The Rehearsal, lampoons Dryden. So it is from this particular play Thomas Shadwell took the character John Byas. Okay? Yes. And he wrote a satirical work titled The Medal of John Byas, which particularly criticizes whom? Yes, the poet John Dryden. Later, as a response to Thomas Shadwell's work, The Medal of John Byas, John Dryden wrote Flecknoe. Fine? Okay, yes. So it's a response to whose work? Thomas Shadwell's work, The Medal of John Byas. So I hope you understood the background of the work Flecknoe. And now let's see the work Flecknoe in detail. Let's begin. The work Flecknoe was published in the year 1682. The subtitle of this poem is A Satire upon the True Blue Protestant Poet T.S. The title Flecknoe means son of Flecknoe. Mac means son, son of Flecknoe. The poem Flecknoe is written in heroic couplets. This poem, Flecknoe, is actually a mock epic. And what is a mock epic? Yes, mock epic is actually a reaction against the overuse or stereotyping of epic style. So we can say this poem, Flecknoe by John Dryden, is an example for mock epic. Or we can say this poem is actually a mock epic. John Dryden considered his works Flecknoe and The Medal. Both are satirical works, and these works are Varronian satires. That is what John Dryden says. Dryden says that both these poems are actually Varronian satires. Flecknoe is actually a short satirical poem that treats the poet cum playwright Thomas Shadwell with humorous contempt. This poem is actually criticizes the poet Shadwell. In this poem, Dryden portrays Shadwell as having inherited the stupidity of a late Irish poet, Richard Flecknoe. Well, dear friends, we can discuss the summary, the poetic devices, other allusions and questions in the next video. Well, thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much.